Arizona's hottest R&B. It's the all-new Vena Soul, the Julian Show. And I have a special guest with me today. I have Shante Saulsberry from JANICE's Women's Center.
Correct.
She is here to talk about what she's doing and how important I feel what she's doing is what it is. And so thank you for coming to the show today. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you've been doing this for how long now?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes, I started December of 2020.
December 2020. What got you into doing it?
I actually met a homeless woman during COVID, early 2020. And after several attempts of trying to get this homeless woman into a shelter and the shelters failed me, I decided to open up my own organization and name it after the woman that I had tried to help.
And I was going to ask you where the name came from. And so
Yes.
that's pretty awesome.
Yes. Yes.
So what gave you that drive to really push? Because it's not an easy thing that you're doing. What gave you that?
I think it was all of the our interactions, our encounters, all of that, all of her stories that she said to me, and just kind of hearing the barriers and the pain and the footwork that she was trying to put in here in Arizona. And then once I got involved and I started to experience those barriers, I was like, yeah, I can't let any more people go through this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's because they're already going through trauma.
Correct.
And then the trauma to get in somewhere. How satisfying is it though that when you get somebody in and they're able to get help, like for you, what does that do for you?
Well, I guess I would probably jump up and down and feel that outburst of emotion. But for me, it's kind of like, yes, one person. All right, let's go on to the next. So I'm always eager to see how many people I can, it's not so much as save, but provide a hand up.
Right. Because if especially depending on the person, if they can get something
Yes.
going in the right direction,
Yes.
and they can take it and run with it. Have you seen, well, first of all, do they check back in with you after they've been in and perhaps hopefully been successful?
Yes, so that's pretty much how the program works. Once I get involved, they become a part of JANICE's Women's Center. So what that looks like is I become their domestic violence advocate. That is what we lack here, advocacy. And so me as their advocate, I pretty much provide them that hand up that they need by placing them in the places they need to be able to get those resources. A lot of people will answer, it's not, again, people, we know this, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
No, absolutely.
And so that is huge. So as their advocate, me being Shante Saulsberry, I'll connect them, with whomever might run the resource center or the organization and say, hey, I need you to help this person. They're working with me. And so we need this, we need that. And so I just pretty much spearhead them throughout the system.
Okay, so all the stuff that's being offered, a lot of it is just through making sure that you are able to reach out to other organizations.
Correct. Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of economic stuff that you offer. And what are some of the other things that are offered?
So, with the hand up, there is, aside from resources, I build them up psychologically and emotionally. So that's the first start. Building someone up that has suffered from trauma and they have been narcissistically abused, they're pretty much torn down. Those who have to start over, they don't even know where to begin. Mm-hmm. And so, especially if they're new here in Arizona. So at this point, it goes from you reaching out to me placing you in a shelter. Then from there, you're running through the other steps of making sure that you have health care, You have food assistance. If you have children that they're in daycare, mental health, both you and the children. Psychological, psychotherapy is huge for me. I provide that monthly. So each, the children and mom, will get psychotherapy. At that point, what do you want to do? Give me your plan for your life. We all should be running on a business plan, because we have it for our business, we have it for our life, that just keeps going. So I asked the ladies, give me your plan. What do you want? And so once they present that to me, I run down their plan for them. So if it's school, I will help them get into school. If it's work, I will help them get work. So it just kind of depends on the person. Everyone's different. I might meet someone who simply just wants me to get them in a shelter, and I won't hear from them. And so that hurts again, but I have to remember that we can't save everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it's the hand up.
Yep.
Provide, and then they take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. And again, you give me your business plan, and I will help you accomplish those goals. That's all it is.
That's all it is. I noticed that I saw there was a daycare too. So the daycare, is that also one of those things that you reach out to different?
Correct. So collaboration is big for me. So everything that I do currently, since JANICE's Women's Center doesn't have its physical home.
Right.
So that is a $8 million build. So I've been raising money for 3 years to get JANICE's Women's Center built. So up until then, it's all just been networking. So everything that I do is collaboration. So I partner with other nonprofits, organizations, resource spaces, like all of that, to be able to provide the ladies the services that they need.
Wow. And that probably has you
busy.
It's
like busy. Yes, they call me the connector. Yeah.
The connector.
Yeah.
Being the connector, I'm sure you have other things you have to do.
Yeah.
Like, how much of your day is being what does your day literally look like?
It's like, that's funny you ask, because people are always like, can we follow you with cameras? And I'm like, that would be good if I wasn't walking into these safe houses, these spaces. And so it just kind of depends. Every day is different for me. So if I get, first thing in the morning, an email that says, I'm going to commit suicide, my whole day shifts. So now it's kind of like, oh no, I have to stop this woman. And so if I know where she lives, I know where she works, my day that morning would revolve around making sure that she doesn't commit suicide. So I might surprise her at her job. I might surprise her at her house. We will sit and talk just like me and you are now, and just have a conversation of togetherness. I am going to be here for you. I don't want whatever it is that you're going through psychologically to be your end. And a lot of times it's their end because they feel like they have no one else. And so that could take about 2 or 3 hours of my time. And that includes travel and just kind of sitting there, because every safe house is scattered all throughout Arizona. So it just kind of depends on my day. So if I don't have any emails that way, then the first thing I do is start off as a mom. So I have to drop my daughter off at school. And then I head over to the boutique. So Janice Van Cree Boutique, I opened that business Juneteenth of 21.
Okay.
And so everything in that store, it's a thrift store, it's donated by celebrities. So all the funds from there go back to support the programs that I offer. And so if that means emergency vehicles, rides, repairs, tires, what have you, daycare, if the ladies fall behind, if they need assistance with rental, after they get their vouchers, they still have to pay a percentage. So it's not like it's still free. Right. And so, it just kind of depends on whatever they need. The psychotherapy sessions, that cost, the children's psychotherapy sessions, that cost. And again, every emergency is different, so I just never know what's going to pop up. And so after kind of getting to the boutique, and then I go head in to intakes because the phone starts ringing. And so then it's just like, hey, I've been trying to call this person, no one's answering. Oh my God, you answered. And I'm like, yeah, but unfortunately I have to send you to the domestic violence hotline, or I have to send you to the crisis line. That's the first step. If they don't answer, call me back. They usually call back because they don't answer. And so then I'm like, okay, give me a little bit more information. Tell me about what it is that you're going through. How long have you been searching for shelter? Who has failed you so far? So therefore, I don't fail you. So just give me a little bit of a background in regards to the systematic barriers that you have endured. At that point, if they have called several people, I end the barriers. So now I will jump on the phone. I will start texting all of my connections. And I'm like, hey, I have this lady. I need your help.
Wow. And then even multi-state, if there's situations going on, you got connections in different states as well, right?
Yes.
If you was telling me.
Yes.
How much effort or how much have you, I mean, to me, this is pretty amazing that you're, like, how many states, first of all, I guess what I'm going to try to ask is, how many states have you connected with in all the organizations?
Wow. So I think there are solidly 5 other states.
Yeah.
So, and that's, every state is different. So I might get a new state this week because someone will reach out to me. They might say, oh, I have a lady that fled Arizona and she's here and no one's answering. Thank you for answering. How can you help me? Because this is technically your person. And so I'm just like, oh, okay. Or it might be opposite. I might get someone from New York and they have a lady in the shelter and she needs to flee and she has chose Arizona. And all the other organizations, they will not answer the phone. They're not going to accept her because she's not a resident of Arizona. Mm-hmm. And so I will provide information. So once we kind of work together, because I'll let them know she's not in Arizona, so I can work with you to get her here. Once she's here, then I will support her moving forward. So at that time, they just become a connection because they're like, you're probably the only person that answered. And you didn't just answer, you provided support.
Right. That's so important. How do you keep going? How do you refill? Because this is major stuff and a lot of effort. I'm just blown away by it. How do you refill every day to go at it on, probably every day of the week, probably.
Every day. Honestly, it's like, I'm very spiritual. So for me, God has already poured into my cup and it has not runneth over. So I just keep going. When he puts me on my tail, I'll know.
Yeah.
I'll know. So, he hasn't, I literally pray about it all the time. He has me sitting here single and stuff. That's embarrassing. But, clearly that is part of purpose.
Hey, sometimes it gotta be like that.
I know. I really?
I know firsthand.
Correct.
Shoot.
Correct. And literally, more than we realize, there's a reason for that. Distractions.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Distractions.
Distractions.
When you're on your purpose, and you're trying to build something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's easy to have them to deal with. And not that it's wrong to deal with someone else's stuff, issues, emotions, but that's a lot of energy.
It is.
Out from, because, your energy can only go in certain directions you point it at, right?
Right.
And so if you're pointing it over here when it needs to be over there.
Correct. And I don't have no arguing all day. So the only person that's combative sometimes are the clients. And literally I can just make them laugh and it goes away.
And it goes away. And,
yeah.
And you have that. Seems like you have that ability too.
Yeah.
Because even we were talking, I was actually even thinking about my own past.
Yeah.
And we touched upon men being able to at least discuss.
Yes.
And tell their story. And somehow you pull that out of me, even before I even met you. So what has been your experience with men dealing with some of the same stuff, and maybe perhaps how, because I know your lane is for women.
Yes.
But how have men been able to benefit, or at least you being a help to them?
Correct. A resource for the men. So I have actually, for 2 years, I've been trying to link up with 100 Black men. And not that it's just, blacks or what have you that struggle with domestic violence. It's all races. But for me, it was predominantly black men that were reaching out to me. And so I was really big on, oh my God, I have to link up with 100 black men, just so I have somewhere to send them in. I can be a listening ear, but I want another man to be able to provide that next level of support. And if that means expanding the resources within the 100 Black Men's organization, that was something that I was willing to support them with. And so I literally just kind of linked up with the 100 Black Men, so I'm happy about that. So we're going to continue to see what that looks like. But the men that reach out to me, they are pretty open. I think they've kind of sat in it for a while. So they'll say, I heard about you. And so this is totally out of my scope. That's what they say. Like, this is totally, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Yeah. And I'm just like, it's okay. It's definitely a non-judgment zone. I would talk to you the same way I would talk to a woman. And so the only thing I can't offer is that manly support that you're looking for. And so they're like, no, I just need to get this off my chest. And so I'm like, okay. And so they'll just start talking and they'll tell me in regards to being groomed as men and the level psychologically and mentally that they've had to endure, which kind of led to some trauma. And so then I might hear another man say something like, Shante, when I was younger, my dad or my grandfather or my uncle, they would always be like, toughen up. You're not supposed to cry. A man is to make sure that they do this, they do that. And so, again, these men are walking around with no emotions. And so without those emotions, it causes trauma and conflict in their relationship. So now they're sitting there and they're just like, I think it's me, and it doesn't even have to be physical abuse. If a man can recognize that he's hurting his girlfriend or his wife emotionally or psychologically, or might even be doing some things verbally, for me, I commend that man, for him to reach out to me and say, hey, I need help. And so that's why it was important to me to link up with other organizations. Like, these men, they want help. There's just nowhere to turn.
Typically, yeah, nowhere to turn, wouldn't know where to start.
Yes.
And then a lot of times, yeah, it does start with, man, as a man, a lot of suppression going on.
Yeah.
And deciding to, let me go ahead and let me go ahead, at least tell the story one time to somebody. And then, exactly.
And then to be honest and just be like, yeah, I yelled at her or what have you, or I said something about her. Yeah, I told her she was fat in that bathing suit, something like that. I'm like, you probably shouldn't have said it like that, hey, babe, maybe if we put a cover on or something like that, there's just a way of saying something. So therefore you don't psychologically and emotionally tear your girl down.
Exactly. Because it's actually stated in the Bible, you have to speak and treat the woman a certain way.
Yes.
There just is. And so the more you learn to do that, the better. And so I'll tell you got some good stuff. Now, how can we continue to support you and grow this thing and keep those funds and resources coming in?
Definitely. And so typically people reach out to me. I'm all about fundraisers. I might not be able to show up to all of them, but people do host fundraisers for me. And I enjoy that. I like to share that because it shows community involvement. And that's what I'm really big on. So fundraisers, if anyone has resources for grants, I don't take federal or state funding. So it would have to be foundation grants or Verizon grants. I'm always looking for grant writers to come out and support. Volunteers is always needed. I kind of feel like volunteers come in strong, they leave just as strong. Okay. So please understand that I deal with victims of domestic violence. And when you come in and you socialize and they see you 1 minute and they don't see you again, that is another level of trauma. So I need volunteers who really want to be a part of JANICE's Women's Center.
That's important you mentioned that. Yeah. Not just come in one time.
Yes.
Be a part of it.
Yes.
Because even if it's part-time, right?
Yes.
As long as there's some kind of consistency.
Correct.
Yeah. And so the website.
Definitely.
Yeah. Janice, what is the website?
www.janiceswomencenter.com.
I'm going to have that posted, but make sure you go to that website And is there any donation that they can do as well, as far as through the website or?
Yes, monetary donations is through the website. I don't take clothing donations. I don't take furniture donations. Like I said, I'm the connector. So I have plenty of people who donate clothing. You know, the celebrities donate the clothing. Furniture, I have organizations that donate furniture. Whenever I need even pieces, I'll reach out to specific community areas just to be able to get that support. So it just kind of eliminates a lot of the extra overhead. So when people are just trying to donate random stuff, clean out their garage and stuff, right. That means I have to place that stuff into storage, and I can't pay to store other people's belongings.
Nah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I heard that. All right, well, Shante Saulsberry, everybody, thank you for coming by Central City Radio, the Julian Show.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, let's help her get some more resources in, everybody. All right, keep it on now. The 5 o'clock free ride is coming up next.